According to a study at Cornell University, the average adult makes about 35,000 conscious decisions per day. So, what does that say if you're a business leader and you have to make more decisions than the average person? As a leader, you need to be ready to make clear, informed, strategic, and growth minded decisions at any moment, which is all the more reason why you cannot afford to allow emotion to get involved in your leadership, right? Nope. What if I told you that that's actually one of the most common myths about effective leadership? That the reasoning behind why the truth is the opposite of the myth is backed by the laws of physics. In this video, we're going to uncover the 3 biggest myths around emotions in leadership and what to do instead. By the end of this video, you'll have a clearer perspective on what is and isn't effective when it comes to involving your emotions in your leadership, along with the science of why that is. The myths we're going to dismantle are some of the biggest driving forces to feeling stuck, unfulfilled, or out of balance in your career. When you buy into these myths, it can cause your team or clients to lose faith or trust in you and to be less committed to the bigger vision. But when you can see past these myths and use your emotions wisely in your leadership, it'll unlock an authentic power that will expand the outcomes possible in all of your goals, professionally and personally. Now, if you're sitting there wondering, but I've already done a ton of work on my emotional intelligence, then you're still going to want to stick around, because we're going to get into the physics behind how your emotions operate in your inner and outer world so that you can go from emotional intelligence to emotional alchemy. What we're going to cover today are the same shifts that took my student Robbie, an automotive entrepreneur, from being called an arrogant jerk by his business partners and his team to being nicknamed Zen Master Robbie. And they're also the same shifts who have brought my students who are empaths into a place of emotional balance, freeing up time and energy to lead more effectively, and my students who used to avoid their emotions to having a clear and effective roadmap to harness their emotions as a superpower. I'm Jordanna Eyre, Chief Sorceress of Life and Business at Spiral Growth Systems. I teach business leaders to unlock authentic power so that they can dismantle ego and break through barriers of impact and fulfillment, using a proven framework powered by the Fibonacci sequence. To make what we're covering today more impactful, I also recommend downloading a copy of my free book, How to Thrive as a Leader in the Face of Ever-Increasing Pressure Without Sacrificing Your Personal Fulfillment, Alienating Your Loved Ones, or Losing Sight of Your Purpose. If that sounds good to you, I'll put a link to the book in the description below this video. Before we get started, go ahead and give this video a like and comment to let me know you're here. Just a small thing you can do to help the YouTube fairies put this video in front of more people like yourself who may need it. Okay, so let's do this. Myth number 1 is that thoughts create emotions. So you should think differently, then you'll feel differently. Now, I am not saying that your thoughts don't assist you in cultivating your experience of the world around you. They absolutely do. Thoughts are incredibly, incredibly powerful. Our emotions, however, are not only created by thought. Your thoughts do influence how you feel. However, they are not what creates emotion. Emotion and feeling are not the same thing. Emotion is unprocessed energy that comes from an array of influences. This energy can arise within us because of ancestral trauma, conditioning, and the energy and consciousness of the collective. And if you believe in this kind of thing, it can come from other timelines or lifetimes. Changing your thoughts can help to create elements of the reality you wish to live into, but it's not going to stop emotion from arising. Nor would you want to, but we'll get into that in a moment. And if it seems like changing your thoughts is helping your emotions, it's probably because you're suppressing them. This might convince you that you feel better temporarily, but in the end, it'll burn you out, make you sick, or get projected onto the people you care about. It can appear that thoughts create emotions because the energy of thoughts and emotions often play together. A thought can evoke an emotion that's been buried, and an emotion can bring up thoughts. But thoughts unto themselves don't transmute emotion that's present. When emotion is present, it is not going anywhere until it is processed. One of the core issues this myth can do to destroy your leadership is that it causes you to strengthen unconscious and unsupportive beliefs. This happens because trying to think differently to feel differently is a method of control. And when we control, we strengthen our unconscious wounds and protection mechanisms. It also causes incongruence between your authenticity and how you're really showing up. We aren't truly authentic when we place thoughts over the existing energy of emotion. Let's look at how the laws of physics demonstrate this. In classic physics, electromagnetic forces govern the interaction between charged particles. What we discover through electromagnetic forces is that if you push a charged object away from you, it can come back towards you due to the electromagnetic forces between the objects. Your thoughts will push the energy of the emotion away, causing it to come back to you. Instead, what you'll want to do is open to allowing the feeling of the emotion in its fullness. If your thoughts seem to be taking you into a downward spiral, then you're not actually feeling the emotion. Emotions will only take us into unsupportive behaviors or downward spirals when we're clinging to the unconscious or conscious thoughts about the emotion or feeling inside of them. To allow the physics of electromagnetic forces to support you as a leader, it is crucial to learn to be able to discern this key difference. And that is the difference between projecting your thoughts onto a blank canvas of your life, the way a movie projector projects a work of art onto a screen, versus projecting your unconscious thoughts about your emotions onto your life. The latter, which causes charged particles of that projection to pervasively find its way into areas of your business, leadership, and life. Discerning the difference here will allow you to embody an authenticity in your leadership while still leading the bigger vision ahead. Myth number 2 is that negative emotions will cloud your judgment and prevent you from making strategic, informed, and growth-minded decisions. A parallel to this myth is that negative emotions will cause you to act on those emotions in ways that could be unsupportive to your business, team, or family. There is a core understanding that will help us see why this is a myth, and that is recognizing that your thoughts about your emotions are not the same thing as emotion itself. Emotion itself can only cloud decision-making, drive you to reactivity, or bring you to behaviors that don't feel like you when it goes unprocessed. When unprocessed, emotion has to go somewhere. Holding yourself back from reactivity is not the same thing as doing the inner work around dissolving the ego that would cause reactivity in the first place. Simply controlling your emotion means that the energy inside of that emotion remains somewhere inside of you and your life. Without emotional processing, the causes of poor decision-making or reactivity will remain. Let's look at the physics behind this one. Have you ever heard of conservation of momentum? The principle of this states that the total momentum of an isolated system remains constant if no external forces are acting upon it. When you push the energy of something away, both you and the object or energy gain momentum in opposite directions, such that the total momentum of the system remains conserved. This means that when you push an emotion away, thinking it'll negatively influence your decisions, the energy of that emotion still carries on its own momentum. The momentum of the energy of that emotion will still carry itself out into your professional and personal life if the energy is not transmuted. And it doesn't stop there. The principle of conservation momentum also explains why, when you push something away, it can come back towards you if no other forces are involved. What you might think is a force stopping the emotion so that it doesn't influence you is only stopping the thought about the emotion. The energy of the emotion still needs somewhere to go and will come back towards you when pushed away. For the emotion to have a supportive effect on you, your business, team, and family, it has to be processed. So let's look at the third myth about emotions and leadership. This is the myth that feeling negative emotions will make you a negative person and that positivity creates effective leadership. Now, I get why this myth exists. We tend to be drawn towards positive, happy people. So it only stands to reason that a leader who leads with positivity can be one who inspires and influences. The issue here is not about seeing the light in everything. More of that? Yes, please. The issue is in the perception of seeing emotions as negative and that any emotion can make you less positive. Not to mention the perception that pushing those emotions away will make you see things in a more positive light. There is no such thing as negative emotion. A leader who avoids shadowy, heavy, or dense emotions winds up storing those emotions in their system, where they come out as addiction, aggression, judgment, self-sabotage, or by affecting their health. Whereas a leader who embraces all emotions as ecstatic beauty and allows all emotion to integrate and process through them is a leader who is able to organically view their business, those who are important to them, and the world as a whole from a lens of beauty, joy, and fulfillment, without having to wallpaper that beauty, joy, and fulfillment onto their lives with manufactured positivity. In physics, there's a core principle called the conservation of energy principle, which states that energy cannot be created or destroyed, only transformed from one form to another. When you push an object away, the energy you exert is transferred to the object, causing it to move. Similarly, the object exerts an equal force back on you, transferring energy back to you. The exchange of energy between objects contributes to the overall balance of forces in the system. The unprocessed emotion you defer will go elsewhere. Then, where it goes will exert itself back to you. Because energy cannot be created or destroyed, a leader who wishes to lead with an authentic sense of seeing the light in everything must also be able to see the light in all forms of emotion. This allows us to relate to the emotion as such that the energy of it is able to flow and transmute, allowing us to lead, create, and live from a place of freedom. This is a freedom that can only be experienced when we are willing to trust in the true nature of our emotions and the gift that they are, both as humans as well as for the vision or contribution that is important to us. If you want to learn more about what you need to cultivate equal amounts of professional impact and personal fulfillment in your leadership in life, then you'll definitely want to download a free copy of my book, How to Thrive as a Leader in the Face of Ever-Increasing Pressure Without Sacrificing Your Personal Fulfillment, Alienating Your Loved Ones, or Losing Sight of Your Purpose. There is a link in the description just below this video. Thank you so much for watching. Go ahead and like and subscribe so that you'll know when I put out a new video every week. And comments make me do a happy dance. So I'd love to hear from you what landed the most from this video in the comments below. And I will see you in the next one.